So my girlfriend and I did a long distance relationship for the better part of a year when I was going to school in Washington. And the thing that you miss the most when you're that far away from your person is like physical contact or like physical intimacy. So not just sex, but kissing, hugging, cuddling, whatever. And also sex. So when you finally get home, of course, the first thing you want to do is all of the things that I just said. So it was December 17th, 2015, and my girlfriend picks me up from my house. It was one of the first days I was back, and she brings me to her house where her parents live, and we're laying in her bed, watching TV, taking selfies, just hanging out, cuddling, kissing, whatever. And of course, we haven't seen each other for about 4 months, so kissing leads to a little bit more than kissing, more than I would like to be doing in her parents' house. And all of a sudden we hear, "Hey." And we like spring apart and look at the door, and it's like her little brother, and he's like just kind of standing there, and then he awkwardly backs out. He's like, "Sorry," and we're just like, "Oh my gosh!" So I'm like, "Go talk to him, just make sure that he's not, freaking out. Like I don't know what he saw, whatever." So she goes and talks to him, comes back in the room. He's fine, just little brother doing little brother things. And so we go back to watching TV. I'm like, not doing that anymore. Like I'm not getting in trouble in this house today. I'm just gonna watch TV. So go back to the same thing we were doing before, watching TV, cuddling, kissing a little bit, and then since we have no self-control, it turns into a little bit more than kissing. And then about 5 minutes later, the door swings open and we hear, "Seriously?" And it's her mom. And her mom hates me. She's like not supportive of the relationship at all, so that was the last thing that she wanted to be seeing going on in her house. So she's screaming at us, "Get out of my house, I don't want to see you anymore, I don't want to see your faces, get out of the house." And I'm like, "Yes ma'am, I will get out of the house right now, I'm not going to die today." So I grab my bag, we leave the house, and it's that point of the night where it's like too early to go home, but it's too late to really go out and like do anything else. But it's Christmas time, so there's lights, up everywhere. So I decide to take her to one of those houses where it's like synced up to the radio. And so, the lights are flashing and the music's playing and they go together and everything. It was the worst music house I've ever seen. So that lasted about 30 minutes until I was like, okay, this is terrible. What are we going to do now? So using our 18, 17-year-old judgment, we decide to go to that one cul-de-sac in our neighborhood where everyone goes to hook up. So smartest move to make at, 10 o'clock at night. So we pull up to the cul-de-sac. I won't bore you with the details, but it's important to note that her jeans were off. So my eyes are closed and everything in our own little world, and I see like a light flash. And I'm like, okay, it's probably my phone. So look at my phone, wasn't my phone. I realize that the light is coming from the back of the car. So I'm mad at first because I'm like, okay, what car decided that they're going to park right behind our car? There's all this room on the cul-de-sac for everybody else. And so I kind of like peek my head up to the back of the car, and it's a cop car. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I'm sitting there trying to be like a good citizen, but all these things are running through my head. Like, first of all, I think it's called like public indecency or something like that. She doesn't have any pants on. She just turned 18 a couple weeks ago, but I'm still 17, so I'm like, okay, there's like statutory rape on the table, like I'm freaking out. So the cop like comes over to the window and he like shines the flashlight in there like, "What are you guys doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're just checking out the view, just looking at the lights, the city, it's beautiful." And he's like, "She's not wearing any pants." And I'm like, "Well, it's hot in here. She was wearing jeans." And so he's like, "Can I see your IDs?" And my girlfriend's sitting there whispering to me like, "Lie." And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to a cop right now. Like, he'd probably search my bag. Like, I don't know what he could do. So she gives him her ID. She's 18. I finally decide that it's better not to lie, so I just pull out my ID and give it to him. He sees that I'm 17, and he's like, "I'm gonna have to ask you to get out of the car." So I'm like, okay. So I get out of the car, I go stand next to him, my girlfriend's sitting in the car like a criminal, and he's like, "I'm gonna have to call your parents." I'm like, awesome. So I give him my mom's phone number, not my dad's. So he calls my mom and he's like, "Just making sure you know that she's out with so-and-so right now." My mom's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna be sending her home because it's about curfew." So he lets me off and he's like, "Okay, just so you know, like I'm not gonna say anything because technically I didn't see you guys doing anything, but if they ask, I will have to let them know that she wasn't wearing any pants." And I'm like, cool, nobody's gonna ask. So I get back in the car, my girlfriend takes me home. I have to briefly explain to my parents that we did a terrible parking job on the side of the road, and that's why the cop had to come and see what we were doing. So long story short, or long story long, that was the day we got caught 3 times in one day, and we never hooked up in the car ever again.